Cable Bahamas has been and continues to be a positive shot in the arm for our summer camps. We look forward to it. Without Cable Bahamas, I don't know if we will succeed, because we look forward to the funding and we are very appreciative, particularly the Cable Cares program. We are very appreciative to what they do.
We thank the Cable Cares Foundation, which would have given into this program, and it's going to pay dividends in the long run because each one of these children are affected.
Well, Cable Bahamas Foundation has helped us in a huge way. We are out there looking for all kind of help, and I am so happy that the Cable Foundation didn't decline us based on the economy and what is going on today.
So they've been with us for a long time, and we look for them to be with us for many years to come.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, the Hotel Union president applauding government's handling of Bahamian Baha Mar workers. An outspoken Baptist bishop chimes in on the Anglican bishop's corruption claims. Police say car theft is trending downward. Plus, this summer's temps inching close to record heat. I'm Paige McCartney. We've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. Welcome once again to MB12. The president of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, Nicole Martin, has been critical of the Christie administration's handling of the Baha Mar crisis. She commended government for its decision to pay Baha Mar's Bahamian workers. Here's Jasmine Brown.
Martin says while she's not a huge fan of how the situation is being handled, she can agree on one aspect of the ordeal. Martin insists the only positive news regarding the development is the government's decision to pay the Baha Mar workers.
I'm happy that the workers are being paid.
Earlier this month, Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson confirmed that Bahamian workers at Baha Mar would continue to receive their salaries from the government this month. Maynard Gibson also insisted it would be deplorable for the Christie administration to use taxpayer money to fund the payroll to cover foreign workers. Days after her comments were made, Baha Mar CEO Sarkis Ismarillion criticized the government's decision to withhold the payment of salaries for the resort's foreign staff. When asked about Ismarillion's assessment, Martin suggested that the developer has it all wrong.
As far as I'm concerned, the foreign workers, however they are paid, it should not come out of the government's coffers.
Martin says foreign staff should be the sole responsibility of Ismarillion.
The foreign workers should be solely the responsibility of Mr. Ismarillion, because those are some of the workers who are keeping our people out of work.
During the first half of the year, Prime Minister Perry Christie repeatedly pointed to the tremendous impact Baha Mar was projected to have on the economy. Baha Mar filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the United States on June 29th. Since then, members of the government have engaged in a war of words with the developer. And since filing for bankruptcy protection, Baha Mar has been meeting with its contractor and lender to try to reach a deal. Maynard Gibson filed a winding up petition against Baha Mar, seeking to bring it under the jurisdiction of the Bahamian courts. The government is seeking the appointment of a provisional liquidator to manage Baha Mar's affairs with a view to getting the stalled project completed and operational. The matter has been ongoing this past week. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Prominent pastor Bishop Simeon Hall has commended Minister of State for Legal Affairs Damian Gomez for speaking out against corruption. Hall says it's incumbent upon church leaders to take responsibility for how their members behave.
The only way corruption could take place is that deals are going on under the table, over the table, on top of the roof. I'm saying we need to call our members into accountability, because if they come to this church, if they belong to this denomination, they should represent it well. We tend to, and I'm talking about the church leaders tend to want to discipline Joe Blow on the side of the road with his liquor bottle in his hand, we come down heavy on them. But the MP who's a member of my church, I tend to exempt him from the pronouncements that he clearly needs to understand.
Gomez told National Review earlier last week that corruption in the Bahamas has become ingrained and accepted because no administration, past or present, has shown that it is serious about dealing with it. Hall said corruption has been systemic for decades now.
The only way we get a job, well, that is lessened as far as I know, where you had to write your MP, get your MP to write a letter for you. And obviously you had to pay him homage before you get your letter. Those kinds of things. The inside track that a family member could get in a certain deal. You know, persons who have proven themselves not to be good professional builders and good persons to do a certain job. They seem to sometimes get the job because of political patronage. And that's what I say is corruption.
Hall said something has to be done to tackle the problem.
One thing that governs, one of the threads that run throughout Bahamian life is what I call the survival motive, where everybody is trying to survive. And I lower my standards for my survivability. And so it's hard for people who are trying to survive to get involved with causes and platforms that call for let's uplift our society. All I'm trying to do is to survive. And if that's the bottom line on which I exist, then you could see how corruption could go further.
Well, a 25-year-old man who allegedly threatened to kill police during several social media posts is behind bars tonight. He was arrested for threats of death. Police say they launched an investigation after the man threatened police in several recordings, which were posted on various social media sites. Officers of the Firearm Tracing and Investigation Unit arrested him shortly after 10 last night. And the mercury is rising. Yep, this summer's been sweltering, falling just 1 degree below record-breaking heat so far. That's according to meteorologist Wayne Neely, who said the country recorded the second highest temperatures for the summer months this year. The highest temperature ever recorded is 96.7 degrees. Neely said in July, temperatures rose to 95.7 at its highest.
We haven't broken a record, but we've gotten near to the record. I think the highest temperature we got so far was 34.7, and that's definitely. And I think it was in early July where we had those record-breaking temperatures.
Neely said there are a number of factors contributing to the sizzling temperatures, including calm winds and warmer waters.
There's a high-pressure system over that's what we call the subtropical high. That's been moving closer to the Bahamas for the last few months, and that basically is going to generate the warm, humid conditions. And if you notice, not only were the temperatures high, but the winds were significantly less intense. You had a lot of basically calm seas for weeks upon weeks, right. and basically light and variable winds. And with that, you had the presence of the winds from the south, which meant it brought up warm Caribbean air into the Bahamas, and that's basically bringing the warm air. So the temperature is definitely going to rise with that. But
well, there's some good news, though. Neely said the public can expect just 2 more months of this scorching heat before the typical cold front starts to cool things down in mid-October. Stay with us when MB12 returns, the latest in the dispute between Malia workers and Bahama workers. We've got that story and more when we come right back.